Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Now, you may have noticed that there wasn't my usual intro, and that is because I have a new intro and it is amazing. It may look a bit familiar and it's just awesome. I had expectations for it and they were far exceeded. The amazing Francesca, who goes by @BettePorter without the first E, I'll put it in the description box, and she made it for me and it is just amazing. So I have my new intro. I also have a Patreon now, so I'll be having a little patron thank you at the start of my videos as well. And I really feel like today is kind of the jumping off point for season 2. I mean, we are reviewing episode 8 of Generation Q season 1. We have now reviewed every episode of the L Word and the L Word Generation Q, and we are just over 2 weeks away. It's technically 3 weeks today that the show's premiering, but we do get it on Fridays now early, so we're just under 3 weeks away officially. But I can't believe it, honestly, that it's been so long. And before I get into that, there is going to be a little bit more talking about the season in general, talking about where we're going for season 2. So I will put like a few timestamps throughout the video because I know some people are just here for the review and they want to skip over maybe the season 2 or the overall season stuff. And then I will also talk a little bit about the channel. So if you're just here for the review, absolutely no problem, you do you. I'll have everything in the timestamps below. So without any more preamble, let's roll the new intro. So as you guys see, it's basically the Generation Q intro and, well, the season 1 Generation Q intro at least. I'm not sure if they're going to change it for season 2, but I love it. It's awesome and I hope you guys enjoy it as well. Obviously I can't use like the copyrighted music, so just had to get a little bit creative with non-copyrighted music there. So, as I said before, here we are, the last episode in season 1 Generation Q. It's episode 8, Lapse in Judgement. And honestly, when we saw this episode the first time around, could any of us have foreseen just how long we would have to wait until we saw season 2? I went back and watched some of my videos like from when I first started my channel, and you know, I only really had episodes 6, 7 and 8, and even that it seems like a different lifetime ago, but then I've only had my channel like a year and a bit, so it's just crazy. But I'm gonna talk about the episode and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about the season overall, season 2, what, you know, my feelings are going into it, and then just G, do you mind, please? Take 2. I'm going to talk about the episode, the season, how I feel going into season 2, and just in general, the channel, what's happening and everything. So make sure to stick around for the whole video. And as always, going to break it down by each character and starting off with our newbies. So I'm going to talk about Dani, Sophie and Finley all together since it's so important what's going on with each one of them. I will talk a little bit about Dani when I talk about Bette, but for the most part, it's important that you mention all of them together, I guess. And Sophie and Finley in this episode, the beginning, there is kind of tension at Bette's, you know, mayoral race party, and we see them kind of being awkward around each other. I'm surprised that no one kind of picked up on it. I guess they were outside, like away from everyone when they were talking, but I feel as though Micah's one of those characters that maybe is taking in a lot more than what's going on. Like, I really wouldn't be surprised if when Micah finds out, he's like, oh, I kind of thought something was going on. So we do see them throughout the episode having this little awkwardness, and then obviously they do hook up at Alice's show. And remember when that was happening, I was like, anybody could just walk in. So obviously a bit of TV magic there. And when they see each other at Alice's, like the day after, and the taping is going on, and obviously all those other people are around them, so they can't really say what they want to say. And I did really, really feel for Finley in this whole situation, because I like her character a lot, and I have like a soft spot for her. And I just feel like she just does, obviously everybody wants to be loved and stuff, but I just really have a soft spot for Finley. And when, you know, she was looking back at Sophie and stuff too, so I was just, oh, poor Finley. And I am leaning a lot more towards, I think that Sophie either goes to Dani or chooses no one, and then in season 2, like Dani and Sophie have their wedding and Finley's just in the background. I just feel as though it's gonna be not like a quick, you know, this is who Sophie picked and that's the end of it. I feel like they will pull this out like a lot longer, and then Finley will be the one kind of really hurt, because Dani, like, although yes, she will be really hurt in the end, she is kind of ignorance is bliss at the moment because she's unaware of what is happening. I am going to talk about the cliffhanger at the end, because I think it's important to kind of talk about where we're leaving everyone for the season. And I also think the ending of this season, like that couple of minutes at the end where the Pink song is playing, I just think that is one of the best moments of the entire show. And I honestly cannot count how many times I've watched it. I think it is brilliant. So I'll talk about it more at the end. So Micah, in this episode, we do see Micah and Jose finally go to Jose's like gallery opening. We've been talking about this over a couple of episodes, and Jose had been talking about doing the painting of Micah. And I mean, I think that they did create the little kind of nuggets for this very well, because it's when it's revealed that Jose has a husband. When I first watched the season, like I was watching the episodes weekly, obviously, and only after everything had aired did I go back. I knew Jose cancelled, and I remember thinking it was really weird, like it seemed like they were pointing towards someone. But even the fact that they had his husband appear earlier, and I do think that rewatching, I preferred a lot of the episodes after I'd watched the whole season. I know that's kind of a weird thing to say, but I really, really liked going back and finding like the little things, because they did really do a lot of really subtle stuff in earlier episodes, and you know, like the things with Tina and the OG homages that they did. And there's a lot of stuff that I'll talk more about this when I talk about the OGs, but I don't know how anyone can say that they don't pay like enough respect to the OG, because they mention stuff every single episode. So for the season, we do end Micah sitting in his house and Jose is like banging on the door, and the way he's saying like it's not what you think, I do think there'll be some sort of like very reasonable explanation, like the immigration theory that we've been talking about in some of my other videos and lives, where Maribel is like an immigration lawyer, and then we've seen a scene in the trailer with Micah and Maribel like casually hanging out. So maybe there is something to do with Maribel helping Jose, and it could be like an immigration thing as opposed to, oh, they're still married and they're just getting a divorce or something like that. And that's pretty much it for the newbies, because Tess, Gigi, a lot of the other Gen Q characters don't actually appear in this episode, which is kind of surprising for a finale, because most of the time they, you know, put everyone in the finale. And I do also think it was strange that they had Laurel in 6 and 7 and not in the finale, but I think that's more to do with like her schedule. But I think the reason that they did kind of limit the amount of people in the episode is because they really did a good job of tying everyone up and tying up a lot of the storylines. And we did get that obviously awesome cliffhanger. And then with Bette, Shane and Alice, we left them in kind of a place that their season 1 storylines were wrapped up pretty well, because I'm going to talk about Shane now and Kiara. And Kiara is not returning for season 2, and they did very quickly in this episode, you know, obviously she sadly lost the baby, and so her and Shane had that argument, and then there wasn't even like a massive goodbye or anything like that, which makes sense because the character was only with us for like the end of the season. And obviously Shane was getting divorce papers like halfway through the season too, so a lot of people go through this when they're breaking up, especially like a marriage and something like this, where they do get back together for a short little amount of time. But it's obvious to Shane now, like they want very different things. And when she was saying, you know, I don't want to be raising these kids that I don't even want when she's on tour and stuff like that. So it definitely leaves Shane in kind of a down place, because obviously she still loves Kiara, but I think that moving forward, you know, Shane's got her business, she's back in LA, she's got Bette and Alice, and now she has the super cute dog. So I'm really excited to see Shane kind of moving on, and I don't want her to go back to like the Shane, you know, sleeping around stuff, but I am really excited to see her, what she's going to do with Dana's, and like her friendship with Tess. And of course, I am really, really excited for the Bette, Shane and Alice dynamic and things, because that, I mean, honestly, that is my favorite part of the show, their friendship and just seeing them together again. So that I'm super looking forward to, and it looks like even in episode 1 we're getting a lot of that from what we've seen with the teasers and the trailer. So Alice in this episode, I just love Alice so much, and her show, it just, I think this was such a genius idea. I've talked about this quite a bit, that having Alice in this TV show and then having other characters working in it, like it just works so well. And then again, the Shane, Bette and Alice scene at Shane's house was brilliant. I absolutely loved that. And then we do see Nat and Alice get back together in this episode, and you know, Gigi's not even in it, so Nat and Gigi have obviously had a conversation that we haven't seen, where Nat has said, you know, she wants Alice. And I didn't even realize the first time I watched this, because I was talking the other day about Nat and Alice and saying we didn't know how long they'd been together, but Alice does say here they've been together 2 years. I have talked about this in my lives a little bit, that going forward, I don't know whether Alice and Nat will survive season 2. I really hope they do, because I really like Nat. I think she's a great character. I think she's really funny, and I love the way Stephanie Allen plays her too. Like, I love that dry humor. So I would really like to see Nat be in season 2 and beyond. And obviously she's in season 2, but I'm not sure how much. And I just hope that Alice and Nat do make it out of season 2 together, because I do think that they have like a really great like banter and dynamic together. So I definitely have my fingers crossed for them. And I did love when Nat turned up and Alice and her are like having the conversation, and Alice is trying to like shut off the cameras and stuff, and she's talking even to Roxanne Gay about being a bad queer and all these things. So I think this was really well done, and I enjoyed them kind of doing it like a rallying thing to get Alice's show renewed. So again, really like this storyline, loved Alice having her show, and I definitely hope we get to see a lot more in season 2. So on to my favourite, Bette, and what a roller coaster with Bette. Obviously, she's running for mayor in this episode, and I did like how they didn't drag this out all episode, because I do think that they definitely made the right decision not having Bette win, because I think the showrunner Marjorie Lewis Ryan said this, like, the show isn't the West Wing. Like, if Bette's the mayor, that's going to take up like all of her time. So, you know, other shows are political shows, you know, this is the L Word, and we're here for different things. So I really like the way they just kind of got Bette's losing out of the way. And I think if they had dragged it out through the whole episode, we wouldn't have been able to have this kind of Bette goes into this really, you know, low, and then at the end she's kind of rallying again to get out of it. So the one thing I will say is when Dani and Bette are like in the back room and they're like refreshing the computer, that's totally something I would do. Like, no, let me try it, as if pushing a button can be like done right or wrong. And I did mention this when I did like my review of this, you know, when it came out, and the reporter in this, like the news anchor, Jay Jackson, I love him, and he is in so many TV shows. He's in like Parks and Rec. He's been in everything. Honestly, if you look at his IMDb page, it's insane how many shows he's been in, like Arrow, Flash, so many shows that you watch. And I just love seeing like silly little cameos like that. So again, the Bette, Alice and Shane scene, brilliant. That was one of my favorite parts of the episode. The OG three together, you know, I think that especially any OG fans of the original show, like the Alice, Bette and Shane part, I'm just being honest, like it is my absolute favorite part of the show. And I really hope we get to see a lot more of it in season 2. And I also really hope that, you know, we know Tina's definitely coming back for several episodes, and then we highly suspect that Helena is coming back, pretty much we know. And I hope that we get some good group scenes with them, because obviously when Tina came back we did get that Shane, Bette and Tina scene, but Alice was nowhere to be found. So I really hope that we get some really good group scenes in season 2. One thing that, and maybe it's just me and like my life made me think this, but when Angie came home and like she was walking through the house like calling for Bette, and she was on the sofa, I don't know why, but I was just really worried that something was going to happen. I think like because I've been in situations where bad things have happened, and it just made me think that I don't know, like Bette's obviously not that type of person, but it really had me worried the first time I watched this, and anytime I rewatch it now I just remember how worried I was. So Bette is obviously really down, just everything has hit her. And I did really enjoy the scene where Bette and Angie go to Runyon Canyon and they're doing the screaming. And then we also get, you know, the callback to the original show where Bette's talking to Angie about going on the silent retreat, which just, oh God, that happened in the season 3 madness. So to talk about where we leave everyone for the end of the season, again, the ending, this is probably one of my favorite parts of the entire season. I just think it was so well done, and the Pink song was just absolutely amazing. Whoever made that choice, brilliant. And we do leave everyone in kind of a good place going forward, like although not the best place, but a lot of the season 1 storylines are tied up. So Shane, you know, Kiara and her are done getting divorced, or already technically divorced I guess, and Shane is back in LA ready to go forward, and she has her new, you know, dog by her side to help her. And then Alice and Nat together, I guess Nat turning up kind of was the ratings things for Alice, because we know that Alice's show was renewed thanks to some set pictures. So going forward, obviously Nat and Alice are together, and Alice's show is going into season 2. Our newbies are left in more of like an open place, because Micah and Jose, obviously that's still completely up in the air. Micah's like shutting him out, and Jose is trying to explain. And then Bette, we see her walk into the restaurant, and I would love to show you guys the last scene where I edited the video to have like a little thing up on the screen. It was like the last, the Pink song basically. And for some reason it has been up. I've been allowed to have this video up with those last, I think it's like 3 minutes long, for the past year and a half. And then randomly last week my video got blocked. So I don't know, but in that video I had like a little title card that was like, damn, Bette looking amazing in her dress, which she did. So I thought it was great having Bette kind of pick herself up and just get out there again. We do know that the reporter Maya isn't coming back. She's on a Law and Order show now. So the showrunner said, this was kind of representing Bette just like picking herself up and going forward again, rather than, oh, Bette's gonna be with this person moving forward. And then the huge cliffhanger that I can't believe it's been a year and a half and we still don't know. So Sophie and Dani and Finley, who is Sophie running to? And I did really like how they bookended the season with the very first episode opens on Sophie's face and the very end of the first season closes on Sophie's face. So I thought that was a really nice choice as well. And overall, I mean, I really liked this episode. I think it was probably about my third or fourth favorite episode of the season. I still do prefer episodes 4, 6, and 7. And I think that the ending there was just brilliant. And I honestly cannot believe it's been a year and a half and we still don't know. So and the thing is, I really think that when the show comes back, it's not going to immediately answer this. So I hope that we get an answer in like at least the first few episodes, what's going to happen with them. But I do think the Dani, Sophie, Finley triangle will kind of play out for at least a handful of episodes. So overall, did I really enjoy Generation Q? Absolutely. I thought there was some fantastic moments. Most of my really favorite moments are, of course, the original characters, because I'm, of course, way more attached to them, having watched them for like nearly 20 years between watching the original show and like rewatching. But there are a lot of the new characters that I do really enjoy. I really like Gigi, Finley, and Dani. They're probably my favorite 3. But there's also like Tess and stuff and some of the newer characters that I also really enjoy as well. I do think it's important to also keep in mind that yes, although this is a spin-off or reboot or whatever we're calling it, that this still is the first season of a television show. And the original show, if you look at the first season, they did a lot of tweaking after the first season. Like Alice and Shane and Dana weren't even like proper main characters in the first season. It was a lot more like Bette, Tina, Jenny, Marina, and even Tim had way more of a part than Alice and Shane. So I do think that they are gonna tweak with things and say, okay, well, this really worked and people really like this. And even if you look at like Gigi, like I know a lot of people really liked her character and were really taken with her. And I know she was bumped up to a regular like in season 1, but they're definitely putting her more central in season 2, it seems anyway. I do have a few things that I have changed my mind about, like after having rewatched the show a few times. I do think that there are some things that I didn't necessarily notice as much, like some of the silly little Bette and Gigi things that I didn't notice the first time around. There's a lot more callbacks to the original series that maybe the first time I just didn't pick up or put as much meaning on. And I do even notice that I think pretty much every episode, maybe except one, that they reference Tina, or obviously she's in 2 of the episodes too. So even in this one, Bette talks about her when she's talking about Kiara's miscarriage. So there is so much that they've done to pay homage to the original show. And I really think that going forward that they're still going to do that. And even the little things like Dana's and stuff that are always going to be present throughout the series are just a really nice touch to this new show. And just to talk about like my specific channel a bit, you know, when I started this channel, it was with episode 6 of the original show, and I just really wanted to talk to some people about Tina coming back and the show in general, because I don't really know a lot of people who watch the show, and this channel has far and away exceeded any expectations I had, and I just really appreciate every single person who is subscribed or watched one of my videos or anything at all. Thank you doesn't even begin to cover it. And all the people who follow me on Instagram, and especially like the people who've just joined my Patreon, like I really appreciate it so much. And I'm so excited for season 2 to start, and for the show again to be having new episodes and new things for us to talk about. It's just, I feel like we're so obviously close to the show starting that I'm starting to get even more excited than I was. And I'm just really looking forward to discussing everything with everyone, and the channel even growing a little bit. Because when my channel originally started, like, I'm not claiming that I really know what I'm doing now, but I have tried to improve the channel as best I can. And even like last week I watched a few of my old videos, like the first videos, and I feel like even if nothing else, my confidence on camera has got like a lot better. So you're seeing like me just the way I am in real life pretty much. So I'm really grateful for everything, and for everyone who watches the channel, and especially comments, and all the people that have been with me since the very beginning. And I just really appreciate especially those really early subscribers and sticking with me through all the trials and tribulations. So thank you so much, absolutely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. One other little thing that I just wanted to say, because I know that I have quite a few new people, and then obviously with the show starting soon there'll be even more new people. So the only thing I ever say about the channel and like, you know, rules and stuff is that I only have 2, and that is, the first one is just to respect kind of the privacy and personal lives of the cast, crew, writers. You know, if people share things, then that's fine, but I don't really ever talk about, you know, people's partners if they don't want their names out there, or pictures or anything like that. And I certainly do not ever talk about anyone's kids or anything like that. And then the second thing is just to be nice. That's it. Like, I really want a positive space where everyone can talk about the show, and that everyone can respect each other's opinions. It doesn't matter at all. Like, if you like a storyline, you don't. If you have a favorite character that's someone that's not really popular, it doesn't matter at all. Like, this is a safe space for everybody. But I absolutely will never ever stand for any sort of bashing or trashing or anything like that of the show, or the actors, writers, showrunner, anyone under that umbrella, because it's just not on. Like, that's as simple as it gets. I absolutely think that you can come and say, I don't like this storyline, I don't like this character. That's absolutely fine. Like, if you have your reasons for that's no problem. Not everybody's gonna like everything. I don't like every character, I don't like every storyline. There's things that I would change about the show, absolutely, but I just will not. If I don't like a character, I'm not going to come on and trash someone who wrote the episode that focused on that character, or trash the actor or anything like that. So that's something that I just wanted to remind everyone of. And if that's not for you, then that's no problem, but those are the 2 rules here. And I hope everyone's okay with those 2 things, and it's the more the merrier here. Everyone is absolutely welcome. So whether you want to just watch one video and never come back again, or whether you want to subscribe and watch every single one and comment and things, you're absolutely welcome here. And that reminds me, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are literally 3 weeks away from the premiere. So now, if you're not already subscribed, now is an excellent time to subscribe so that you get notified every single time I post a new video. Make sure that you have that little bell turned on. And also don't forget to follow me on all of the social medias so you can keep up to date with everything L Word related. I'm going to be posting about the interviews and pictures and everything that's coming out over the next few weeks for the publicity for the show. So make sure to go and follow me on all the social media platforms. And I also have a Patreon now. So if you want to join our little Patreon family, it is like a kind of a little small subscription, and I post things on there that are like more behind the scenes stuff, and it'll also be like a more personal thing, so I post like some vlogs and stuff on there. So if you want to join that, you are more than welcome, and my Patreon and everything like that is linked in the description box below. And also down there is my merch store. So if you want to purchase any awesome L Word shirts, water bottles, anything like that, then go over to my merch store and get your hands on some cool L Word stuff there. So I hope that everyone has enjoyed reviewing every single episode of the L Word and the L Word Generation Q. I have absolutely loved doing this, so I hope that everyone has enjoyed this little ride with me, and I am so excited for season 2. I cannot wait. We are so close. So make sure that you guys stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!